Today on the Bandrew Says podcast, we're going to be discussing how Discord has become the epitome of evil capitalist scum. They are trying to destroy their platform and the community that is developed around it. They are evil, and a whole lot more, so go ahead and stick around. Let's start the show by discussing the evil, exploitative, murderous, capitalist elephant in the room. Discord is rolling out premium memberships. What does that mean? Discord is going to be putting every single server behind a paywall. Therefore, they are forcing us, the people who have made the platform what it is today, to pay hundreds of dollars a month to continue to use this service. Can you believe it? You shouldn't, because that's not what's happening at all. But based on the responses to this announcement, you would expect that's what's happening. You would expect that to be the situation, but that is not the case at all. Pretty much all that's happening is Discord is allowing a server owner to create a membership tier program just like people are able to do on Patreon, on YouTube memberships, and then put portions of their Discord servers behind that paywall, just like you can already do with Patreon and YouTube memberships. There is nothing evil about this. There is nothing changing about this. This is a feature set that is already in place on every single Discord server if the server owner has Patreon or if they have YouTube memberships, or I'm sure there are other subscription services as well that are integrated into Discord and allow you to put certain parts of your server behind a paywall. So nothing is changing. There are not even new features that are being rolled out here. The only thing that is actually changing is server owners are going to be able to create this membership tier in Discord. And that is incredibly smart of Discord. They have developed all of these tools and allowed other services to profit off of that. YouTube profits off Discord allowing people to put certain parts of the server behind the paywall. Same thing with Patreon. Discord saw that and realized, well, why don't we just build this into the system, into our own service, and we get money instead of YouTube, and Patreon getting money for our hard work. It's smart of Discord to do this. But here is where things take a turn, and we learn that Discord is evil, exploitative, and capitalistic. They are profiting off of you. They are going to take 10% of every single membership transaction. Can you believe it? 10%. I want to be as transparent as possible. This is what is being reported. I wasn't able to find an official disclosure or fee rate or anything. I couldn't find that. So I'm basing this and I'm trusting the tech news outlets that I read this on. But what can we determine from this? Evil capitalist pigs. Evil capitalist pigs. Unlike YouTube and Patreon, who are beautiful and brave and wonderful, and I love them. Let's look at YouTube. YouTube, they take 30% of every transaction, whether it be a super chat, whether it be a membership, whether it be a super thanks. YouTube is taking 30%. Let's look at Patreon, the gold standard. For me personally, Patreon is taking 10.9% of every patron subscription over $3. If it was under $3, they would end up taking 12%. But above $3, they end up taking 10.9%. And that is based on the payment processing fee and the fee they take for the services you're using. I'm at a very basic level, so they take 8% from me to provide the services, and then payment processing is 5% sub $3, and 2.9% over $3. But expanding beyond the basic tier that I have, the fees that they take could range from 8 to 17% on Patreon, depending on the services you're using and the amount of the patron subscription. So what can we learn from this, or what can we take away from this? Discord is being incredibly competitive with the fee that they're taking. They blow YouTube completely out of the water. You will get 20% more of the membership payments. You're getting 90% as opposed to 70% that you get from YouTube. On Patreon, it's a little bit more murky because there are so many different tiers. You could be getting 92% of the payment on Patreon if you have the very basic tier, but you could also only be getting 83% of the payment if you have the highest tier on Patreon and everybody subscribes under $3. So it is going to be a little bit more murky, and you will have to do analysis on which one will be better for you, and also what kind of features you're getting, because that's the most important thing to remember. These membership tiers are not going to exist solely for the purpose of a Discord channel. That's not why they're going to exist. It's still going to be 100% reliant on the content creator to create an enticing incentive structure for people to support the channel. They're still going to have to create that additional content that makes people want to subscribe, or they're going to have to make content that's so gosh darn good that people want to support it and fund it so they can continue to make that content. Now, I do want to address a few concerns or reactions that I saw on Twitter to this announcement. I know Twitter's not reality, but I found it a little bit interesting that this was the immediate reaction to it. And the thought process was, oh my gosh, now all the servers that I love are going to be behind a paywall. The free access to Discord is ended. This is evil. This is terrible. Why are they forcing us to pay to be a part of a community that we developed? I highly doubt that's going to happen, but even if it does happen, even if you're part of a server that goes 100% behind a paywall, who is to blame for that? Is it Discord? No. It is going to be the server owner who makes the decision to put everything behind a paywall. And let me remind you, these are not new features. These already exist. They are just implemented through third-party services like YouTube memberships and Patreon. People can already make their entire server behind a paywall. There are YouTubers who do it. I don't understand why, but there are YouTubers who do that. They put their entire server behind a paywall. So the system is in place. People are already able to do that. And if you're a part of a server who says, oh my gosh, I'm going to capitalize on this community and put it 100% behind a paywall, that's the server owner's fault, not Discord's. Not Discord's fault. Ridiculous and silly, and I doubt it will happen. And once again, let me reiterate, the content creator is still going to be responsible for creating an incentive structure to convince people to sign up for memberships. They are still going to need to provide benefits for different memberships tiers. They're not going to be able to just put everything behind a paywall. I imagine we will see some NSFW servers that go full behind a paywall. Whatever, that stuff's all over the place. Go to OnlyFans or something. And like I said, this makes perfect sense to me for Discord because the features are already there, they developed them, and they allow companies like YouTube and Patreon to profit off of it. Why would Discord not say, hey, we've built this system, why don't we implement that system or implement a payment structure into our platform so we can earn money off of that to fund further development of these tools that we've already made? It makes perfect sense for Discord. It's smart of them on their part, and I will link Discord's blog post as well as their FAQ in the episode notes if you want to read a little bit more. Now let's talk about a YouTube copyright issue, and then I'll share my thoughts about it. This last week, I heard about a Japanese anime studio. I believe they're called Toei, Toei. They copyright struck a channel by the name of Totally Not Mark. If I'm not mistaken, it was 150 videos. And then on Twitter, I saw Mastar say that he got a lot of strikes from Toei as well. And I will link 2 videos in the episode notes about this. One will be from PewDiePie. The reason I'm linking that as opposed to Totally Not Mark is because Totally Not Mark's video about this, he took it down. The pressure got to him, he said, in a video that I will link, and he took down the videos discussing this, and he said he just wants to move on because too much stress. So I'll link PewDiePie's video discussing this, and then I'll link Totally Not Mark's video discussing why those 2 videos were taken down. Now let me start by stating the obvious. This sucks. This sucks a lot. These videos are being striked. They are receiving copyright strikes when they should fall under fair use. And it doesn't just suck for Totally Not Mark, it sucks for anybody who is covering anime or any content that should fall under fair use, because this, I guess, creates a precedent that will embolden these companies to strike down fair use content. And now that I've said the obvious thing, let me say the honest thing. This does suck, but it's not going to change. It's not going to change unless the content creators who are negatively affected by this start to threaten YouTube and sue YouTube. And I know that is quite a claim to make, but let me explain. In these copyright disputes, you have two parties. You have the content creator and you have the individual or group who are claiming copyright ownership. Those are the two parties in these copyright disputes. On one hand, you have content creators who are typically one person or a couple of individuals who have very little capital. They do not have lawyers on retainer. They do not have a copyright department. They are just small, independent entrepreneurs. Then on the other hand, you have large corporations. You have animation studios. You have movie studios. You have record labels where they have millions or billions of dollars of revenue every single year, which affords them the ability to have lawyers on retainer and have an entire copyright lawyer team probably. So let's look at this from YouTube's perspective. They receive an email or some kind of form submission from somebody claiming to be a massive company that's likely to have millions of bucks of revenue and a team of lawyers stating some content on your platform violates our copyright. If you don't resolve this, we will sue you. That is a massive risk to YouTube, a massive financial risk. But on the other hand, you have this independent or small team YouTube channel that is being accused of violating this massive corporation's copyright. You also know how much money that independent channel is bringing in on your platform. So you also have some idea of what kind of risk that independent YouTuber is going to be willing to take. What I mean by that is if that independent YouTuber brings in $1,000 a month in ad revenue, and the cost of taking this corporation to court is $100,000, YouTube can probably guess they're not going to do that. That's just not in their wheelhouse. It's not in their budget. It's not really worth it. But also, they're able to make the assumption that because that smaller creator doesn't have a lot of money, it's not going to be worth it to them to try to sue Google, YouTube, Alphabet, whoever, for allowing this third-party company to claim revenue from that independent creator. So the risks are completely lopsided for YouTube. The first party, being the company claiming copyright, poses a massive risk to YouTube, while the second party, the independent content creator, poses almost zero risk to YouTube. So just based on that, I think it's fair to assume that we will never see this issue resolved unless the content creators who are being harmed by this become some kind of risk to YouTube. And I'm not advocating any kind of physical risk. I want to make that abundantly clear. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying financially, there is currently a massive risk from the copyright holder or the copyright holder claimants, and there is very minimal downside risk to YouTube for just siding with them, because the content creator, what are they going to do? Stop uploading? Who cares? We got 10 million more creators to upload. YouTube doesn't have the incentive to fix it at this point. So until there's a change in that risk profile, I don't anticipate or foresee YouTube doing anything to resolve this. I would love to hear from you. There's some crazy stories here. Watch PewDiePie's video. He has an original song up that he made. He made this song, published it. Somebody else claimed his song, his own song that he uploaded to his own platform. Somebody claimed it on behalf of PewDiePie, on PewDiePie's channel. It's insane how broken this system is. But YouTube, I don't see them fixing it because, like I said, the risk profile, there's no reason for them to. They're not going to unless there's risk on the other hand as well. Let me know what you think of this, because I have no idea what the solution actually is. And I will link Mark's update in the episode notes as well as PewDiePie's video, if you want to check that out. And that is all the news. Let's jump to what I've been testing, and I'm gonna say the thing, you have been listening to it. This is a new microphone, the Gefell UMT-70S. Its run is done. Its run is over. Now I am on the Lauten FC-387 Atlantis. Full disclosure, this was sent to me by Lauten Audio so I can review it. I'm using this for 4 episodes of the podcast like I do with all the higher-end mics so that I can get a good understanding of it and get a little bit more personal with it, using it for 20, 30 hours on the podcast. You may not think it, but it takes me like 6 hours to make one of these, so 4 episodes, 24 hours, yeah, you get the idea. And this thing, multi-pattern, omni, cardioid, figure 8, 3 voicings, forward, neutral, and gentle. Forward is a much brighter, more modern sound. I'm in neutral because, you know me, I like more tame sounds. And then you have gentle. Rolls off a bit of the top. And the capsule in this thing is the crazy thing. 38 millimeters. What does that translate to? 1.5 inches. The capsule on this thing is just, it's massive. 1.5 inch capsule. Just what? And it not very good with plosive, so I won't be doing a proper plosive test on this thing because the capsule's a dinner plate. Yeah, blow into a dinner plate is going to capture wind from a mile around. But gall darn it, does it sound nice. I included this in one of my videos, one of my reviews. I just grabbed this because I was recording some guitar with it a couple of months ago, and everybody was like, whoa, 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 what the hell was that? What was that one? That one sounded great. That one was bonkers. I want to hear more of that. All right, that's what I've been testing. Let me know what you think of it. Now let's jump to what you had to say. First comment comes from Sean Webb. He says, when I edited tape to tape back in the day, we could read the VU meters on the record deck and the playout deck. Sean, thank you very much for the comment. This is in response to me complaining about editing without having any kind of waveforms, how reliant I become on waveforms, and wondering how difficult it would have been to edit prior to having digital readouts of audio waveforms to edit off of. And I did watch something maybe a year or two ago where Steve Albini was doing a masterclass and he was discussing, or demonstrating rather, how he edited tape, how he would splice tape. And he would get to the exact point that he wanted and then rock back and forth on the tape machine to find exactly where he wanted to splice it. And he was incredible at it. I don't know how easy it is, how difficult it is, but he made it look really easy. But my point stands. Editing based on waveforms is essential to me because I will try to say a point 5 times and screw up 4 of them. And then I will remember, oh, I kept screwing this bit up. I couldn't get my point across clearly. Let's skip forward 3 minutes. There's a big long pause. Let's see what I said there. Okay, I'll just edit out the last 3 minutes. That's how I do it. I have this, I remember how many times I screwed up every bit, and I will be able to edit out of it. Rather than just listening to 3 minutes of me rambling on and sounding like a complete and utter diphole. Yeah, digital editing and waveforms are awesome. Is awesome? Digital editing is awesome, and digital waveforms are awesome. Is that the proper way to say it? English people. English people? I'm English. English professors, tell me how you would properly phrase that. Because digital editing is awesome, and digital waveforms are awesome. It wouldn't be digital editing and waveforms is awesome. It wouldn't be digital editing and waveforms are awesome. It would be are awesome. These are the things that go on in my head. Next comment comes from Blue Rich. Sorry about that. He says, today I found out that my favorite source of microphone reviews also hosts a podcast about social media drama? Can't say I saw that one coming. It was a good listen nonetheless. less, if only to hear the sweet U67 reissue for 20 minutes. Thanks, B-Dog. Blue Ridge, thank you very much for the kind words. I'm going to push back on you a little bit. Social media drama? I don't know if I would classify it as social media drama. Maybe I'm just being hoity-toity and trying to make myself feel better, but the way I would describe it, I prefer to call it analyzing social media news to determine how it will affect you as a content creator. News analysis, news deconstruction, to steal from the No Agenda show. It's news deconstruction. It's not social media drama. Come on, get out of town. Not social media drama. Or maybe I'm just in denial. You tell me. Okay, let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. Welcome back to the Ask Bandrew segment. If you have questions, you can go to askbandrew.com. Askbandrew.com. Please send in audio, video, or text-based questions. I do prefer audio and video. Then I don't have to read. I am a stupid person. All right, let's jump into it. We have a voice submission from Guthrie. Take it away, Guthrie.
Hi there, Bandrew. This is Guthrie. I'm speaking to my Rode NT1 I got last summer thanks to your recommendation. I was wondering, what is the best way to reduce background noise when you can't treat your room? For reference, I'm in a college dorm.
That is a great question. How do you reduce background noise when you cannot treat your room? First suggestion would be record in the closet. It sounds like a joke, but I made a video, I think it was 10 tips on how to get better sounding vocal recordings. Recording in a closet, the clothes act as a deadening agent and it makes it sound a little bit less reverberant. That's the first suggestion. Second, you're in a dorm room. I imagine that you have a roommate. You both have beds. Use those what are they? Why can't my brain just died on me? Use the mattresses. Though that's the word I was looking for. Use the mattresses and build baffles. 2 massive mattresses, those would kill sound great. Use the mattresses and build a little fort. And then record in the fort. You get to relive your childhood and get great sounding recordings. Third, you could build a makeshift booth out of C-stands and moving blankets. I made a video about this on Podcastage a while ago. I used lighting stands because that's what I had. SoundSpeeds made a video about it using C-stands or T-mounts or something. That's another route to go. You wouldn't have to do any kind of permanent alterations to the room, which would be probably impossible. And fourth, adjusting your location in the room is really helpful in terms of reducing the amount of reflections, backing away from the wall so your voice isn't bouncing off as much, so your voice is a bit quieter when it hits the wall, not going to reflect back as much. It's another way, but dorm rooms are so small, I highly doubt you're going to have much change there. So I'm going to say 1, 2, or 3. The first, second, or third suggestion would be the route to go. Record in the clothing closet area, the little nook there. Use the mattresses to build a little baffle fort, a little vocal booth. Or buy some moving blankets and some lighting stands and build a makeshift recording booth there. That's what I would recommend. Hopefully that's helpful, Guthrie. Best of luck. Would love to know what you ended up doing. Let us know in the comments. Next, we have an email from Ahmed. He says, I want to use Shure SM7B with more than 6 inches distance and available interface in my country is Focusrite Scarlett 8i6, Audient ID14 Mark II, Scarlett 2i2 3rd Gen, Solid State Logic SSL2 Plus, Universal Audio Volt 2 USB audio interface, Audient ID4 Mark II, Go XLR Mini, Universal Audio Volt 2, some options over $1,000, but I cannot afford them. What from these choices will suit me and give me the best of these mic, and do I need the USB power only? Okay, I recorded a sample with the SM7B and my 2 selections for you. They are both bus powered, which would mean that you only need USB power because They are bus powered, plug into the USB port. The interfaces are fully powered, and they can drive the microphone. So that answers the last question. Let's now jump to the past when I recorded this sample for you. I popped the microphone through a pop filter. That is difficult to do. Take it away, past Bandrew. Ahmed, thank you very much for the email and the question. Of the interfaces that are available in your country and you can afford, the two that I like the best are the SSL2 Plus and the Audient ID14. Those are the two that I would go with. So currently, to demonstrate this, I have the SM7B running into my Radial JS3 mic splitter. Then that's running out to the Solid State Logic SSL2 Plus and the Audient ID14. I will have been switching back and forth between them. If you're just listening to the audio file, it's going to be very difficult for you to tell. But I will tell you this, the ID14 does have less gain on tap. I have both of them cranked to 100%. I have the SM7B in flat mode about 6 inches away. If I were to get maybe a foot away, now I'm hitting around negative, I'm kind of a loud talker, keep that in mind. But I'm hitting around negative 9 decibels with the SSL and around negative 18, maybe even lower, with the ID14. So if you're going to be using the SM7B farther away, these are the two that I would select. But if you want all of the gain, I would go the SSL2 Plus, because I am showing a significantly higher gain level, more gain on tap. And on top of that, if you want to brighten it up a little bit, I'm going to be on the SSL right now. Let me go ahead and hit a button. Now I've engaged the 4K switch, and that just brightens it up a bit. Gosh, we're playing dangerous games right here. We're right on the edge of clipping. I don't like this. And I would never use the SM7B this far away. But there you go. I could even roll this back and bring it back in a bit. And I'm doing this completely without headphones or monitoring. I'm just looking at a meter. Let me go ahead and shut off 4K. This is how the SM7B sounds. I have my gains set at 4 o'clock or 9 on the dial. And if I were to engage the 4K switch again, now I've engaged the 4K switch to brighten it up, and I'm hitting around negative 9 to negative 6 dB. There you go. Hopefully that was helpful, Ahmed. Best of luck on your decision. Between all of the interfaces you list, SSL2 Plus or Audient ID14, if you want all of the gain so you can use it far away, SSL2 Plus, I have it a foot away and I'm hitting negative 12 to negative 6 dB with gain at 100%. Okay, that's it. Great question. Let's jump to another one.
What's up, Bandrew? Can't say enough good things about the content you create, and my bank account absolutely hates you. I just wanted to ask you if you ever worry that you could lose your day job because of something that you say that might get taken out of context. Is this something you discussed with your employer when you started publishing content?
Kevin, thank you very much for the voice submission. That is a great question. Am I concerned about getting fired from my day job because of something that I say online? First thing I will say, I understand the concern. I have been concerned about this in the past, but I'm not really worried about that anymore. I don't really care anymore. First thing I do my best to not say anything online that would be objectionable to my employer. I don't even want to be objectionable to a family member or a friend. I don't want to offend anybody that I know or care about. And I don't want to lose my job over something that I say online because being edgy is funny. I don't care about any of that. There's no point in me being a jerk online for online points to destroy my real world existence. That's stupid. That's short-sighted. Also, I talk about microphones and social media news, so I'm not really dealing in highly controversial stuff. It's pretty easy for me to steer clear of any overly contentious topics that might lead to outrage, that might lead to me getting canceled. I guess it's always a possibility. Somebody could take something out of context and get me fired. And to answer the question, I do not discuss what I do online with my employer because it's none of their business, really. Now, if I was doing stuff online that was the same as what I do in my day job, absolutely, I would disclose that. That's ethical. But being that I put numbers in Excel during the day, and then in the evening, I talk about social media and microphones, those couldn't be more unrelated. So I feel zero obligation to disclose anything of what I do online to my employer. I do have some caveats to that where I would need to disclose it, but I'm not getting into any of that. There's reasons I don't want to talk about that, but for the most part, no, I don't discuss it with anybody. I don't tell anybody what I do. It's uninteresting to most. Hey, you work on this really cool thing. Can I tell you about microphones? They would kick me out of the room. Although I haven't been in a room with anybody for 2 years, so I don't know. Maybe I guess they did kick me out of the room. I just wasn't aware of it. But a few years ago, I talked about this and I offered up this advice and I touched on it very briefly at the beginning of my response to you, but I will reiterate it. If you don't want your friends, family, or boss to see something, or read something, or watch something, or listen to something that you say or do not publish it online. That's my rule of thumb. If I don't want any of my family or friends or employers to see something, I will not post it online. And I know some people will get super angry and say, "Oh, but Bandrew, you're a beta cuck. You're self-censoring." So what? So what? I don't walk into my office and say, "Hey, you're a real dickhead" to somebody at my job who I might dislike. I don't do that. That's me self-censoring. And chances are you don't do the exact same thing. You don't go into your work and say, "Hey, Cheryl, you're a real dickhead. I hate you. You're the scum of the earth." And if you don't do that, you're self-censoring. So who is the real beta cuck now? I guess it's me. I don't care. Call me whatever you want. But that's my take on it. If I don't want my employer, my friends, family, anybody to see something, I'm not going to post it online. Simple as that. I think that's a rule of thumb that a lot of people should adopt, especially with how popular NSFW content is becoming. But if that's the route you want to go, more power to you. I'm not your daddy. You go do it. Why did I put it that way? I hated that. You do whatever makes you happy. And if getting fired makes you happy, more power to you. That wasn't directed at you, Kevin. That's just people who post certain things. Anyway, last comment comes from Elton. He says, "Hello, big fan of your work. I want to congratulate you on the amazing video reviews you do, and I love your review of the TLM-49. It sounds great. Your room sounds so great. I was hoping if you can share some tips about the room and how to get the same results. It's amazing how good it sounds with no compression on. How can I get the same exact sound as your review video with the TLM-49? Please and thank you in advance, Elton." Okay, I recorded something. Pass Bandrew, take it away. All right, Elton, thank you very much for the email and the question. First thing that I want to say, my room is not particularly good. It wasn't designed by an acoustic person. I'm just a dope, and I said I talk in this general area. Let's put treatment here, treatment there, and treatment there, and then cover the windows because those are really reflective, and then put some back there to maybe reduce a little bit of the reflections, but nothing here is really designed for any acoustic purpose. I just made assumptions and guesses and ran with it. So I would not classify my room as sounding great by any stretch of the imagination. It is just guessing and assumptions and trial and error and hoping that it turns out okay. I am almost certain that if an acoustical engineer came in here, they would freak out and scream and say, "Why the hell did you do this?" It's the worst thing ever. But currently, I have the TLM-49 connected to a very long Neumann cable, so it's probably a $10,000 cable. I'm running it into the Focusrite, 18I20, gain at 130, and I don't think this is going to be very helpful, but I'll just walk around the room and hopefully not shock the microphone. This is me right in the middle of the room. Let me just continue to walk through the hallway. Hey, echo, echo, echo. Do you hear that? That's echoing in the bathroom. Very good, very good. Okay, now I'm in my living room. Can you hear this on the cable? Probably, but this is a completely untreated room with the TLM-49. And we will walk back into the studio, and now we are in the treated space. Walking back. Hello, hello, hello. And we're back home. So what was the point of that? I have no idea. I don't know if that was helpful. I don't know if that provided you any additional insight. I just guessed where I put panels. I'm talking in this general area, so I treated it. Stuff bounces off of that wall, so I treated it. That's my guess. Okay. That's the end of this completely useless test for you. Hopefully that provided you some insight, Elton. Thank you. And that's it for this episode. We have 40 seconds left. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an amazing Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Next Sunday, I will talk at you. I love you so much. You're the best. Let me know what you think of all these topics in the comments down below or on anywhere, Twitter, do whatever you want. I love you. You're the best. I will talk to you next week. Bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.